Good evening. My name is Nigel Mitchell. I'm going to be your counselor for tonight. Your name is?
Jamala. Rama.
Welcome. Nice for you to join me tonight. First and foremost, I want to let you know that this is going to be a safe space. Um, you can, share your thoughts, express yourself. And I just want to establish that right now that you'll be able to speak your mind without any repercussions. I do have to let you know that I am a mandated reporter, so if you do say anything that I would deem harmful to yourself or others, I'm mandated in my position to let superior authorities know. Understandable?
Understood.
Okay. So first, I want to just open up by asking, have you had counseling experience before? Is this your first time?
Yes, I've had counseling in like a school setting, but not like an adult professional like therapist type session.
Okay, okay. I don't want to make this an informative, me just talking to you kind of session. So, if you would like to share what brought you here tonight.
I'm looking for a different outlet to express myself and my emotions and how I'm feeling without blowing up on people.
Uh, is okay. Now, what has driven you to feel like that's a change is necessary? Like, is this something that you feel like is something?
Something that I feel like and also has been brought to my attention from various people in my life. So decided that it was time to make a change.
Tell me more about that. How so?
It's affecting my relationships. It's affecting the way I'm being viewed at work, just the way I'm being viewed in general. So I wanted, a different way to express myself without having such a negative and like a negative aura around me because that's how people perceive me to be because I'm always blowing up.
Do you
Yeah.
feel as if you're always blowing up?
I feel like I'm provoked most of the time, but I do see in some instances where people can think that it's like unnecessary or uncalled for.
Okay. Now, I see that you mentioned, most of the time you're provoked. Is that something that you feel like, and when I say the being provoked, is that something that's in your control as far as being provoked?
I would definitely say all my actions is in my control because how I decide to react from people, like other people, is all in my hands. It's just I don't really have a good
So,
grasp on
so
it.
your reaction is in your control, but the being provoked part wouldn't necessarily be in.
No.
Okay. And the reason I brought that up because it's good to highlight, just like you just mentioned, what's in your control
And what's not.
and what's not. So, now the reason you said you're here is because you're thinking about different outlets to express yourself. How far have you gotten with brainstorming about the different possible outlets? Or
Not.
before we get there, not to cut you off, before we get there, what ways now do you feel? What way now do you feel are outlets that you're using that you want to change? That you feel like you want to change?
I would say just expressing myself in a better manner versus exploding on people or ignoring the issue, sweeping it under the rug. Like I want to be able to express myself in a tone and a level where people understand me and not just like shutting down because I'm just like going off.
Well, first I want to highlight that I mean this goes without saying, but you're human, and the fact that you're able to identify how you're being perceived or how your actions may come across affecting. that's already, a step in itself. So, one, I want to say that you feeling like that, or you wanting to make the change, or people feeling that way about you, doesn't make anything wrong with you. It just makes you somebody going through things that people go through. So that's just one thing that you want to know, and I want you to understand. Not to say you didn't, but it's something that needed to be highlighted. So yeah, you that's not something that's uncommon, or yeah, unnormal. Communication is huge, especially in the human species. So moving forward, have you been able to brainstorm any different possible outlets to express yourself, or not even to express yourself, just have you in a different mind state? Like what have you thought when it comes to moving along that process?
Just thinking more positively, not letting certain things bother me or affect me that shouldn't, or that I shouldn't allow to get under my skin. I think I need to like meditate and breathe and do all those things before, versus just like going with my instinct.
Well, it's funny that you brought up the meditate and breathe and things of that nature. How is your self wellness? How do you, as far as your you time?
I don't think I get enough. My schedule is pretty hectic. I definitely think I could do better in that aspect, but unfortunately, I don't have the time at the moment, so it's hard.
Life is hard.
True. But, I mean, I think I do good as I can at the moment, but it's definitely something I want to work on.
I think it's something. I think it's something that would help your outlook on a lot of other things. It's important, especially with your relationships with people, your relationship with other people. It's important that you definitely make sure you prioritize time for yourself. Now, like I said, that's not saying that's just gonna fix the communication or change it. That would just have you in a better mental space more consistently. That's definitely something that I think you should think about. When you say you have a hectic schedule, are you able to some days take time just for yourself?
At least once a week, maybe.
You said once a week?
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 days in a week.
Yes, but that's the only.
So that means once a week you have time for yourself, and the rest of the week you're giving your time to other people.
Not necessarily other people, but like school assignments, just like regular life things.
True. True. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's stuff that you have to take care of. You're investing in yourself, but at the same time, you should prioritize in your well-being as well. When I say well-being, I'm not just saying physically. I'm saying physically, mentally. Do things that remove your mind from stress, in a sense. I mean, it's easier said than done. You know what your stress is. Your stress may not be somebody else's stress. Your stress may not be somebody else's stress, but it definitely is important to highlight some time for yourself and try your best to make that consistent. The same way how you say, you have to take time for school, you have to take time for yourself as well.
Definitely something I'll work on.
We're coming towards the end of our first session. I would love to see you again. What I do want to send you away with, and I know we spoke a little bit today about, your communication and how you present. What I want you to come away from this session is you're not going to be able to. I feel like you should prioritize, before we prioritize how we're communicating and how we're expressing ourselves with others, especially our loved ones. we should prioritize and try your best. And like you said, it's easier said than done. Some me time and see if that affects it at all. Because a lot of times people are just frustrated, you know, and because they hold stuff in and because they don't have that outlet, like you just mentioned. You want to find a healthy outlet. They don't have an healthy outlet, so they just do what they do. And so, not to ramble, but I do want to leave you with that and say, you know, if you do come in next week for a session, I want you to be able to tell me one thing you were able to do this week that was for you. Okay, I'm not necessarily saying I want to hear about how this communication went with that person. I want to know what you were able to do for self-care and see if your mindset is different at all. Okay, you have anything you would like to add?
No, I think I expressed myself and what I'm looking for.
Now, by all means, this isn't something that is going to be guaranteed to work, or is just, but do you feel like this is something that you can work on, or something that would assist in other areas of your life if you prioritize and you invest in yourself?
Yes, that definitely made sense, because I can't be my best self if I'm not taking care of myself. So
yeah,
definitely makes sense.
So good. Thanks for coming tonight, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Right. All right.
Want me to stop that?